my garbage person of the week, I've got the person, but why they're garbage, we're gonna have to have a little conversation. But first, here's the video.
So again, anybody who had a hand in, say, like the last 5 wars that diminished American power, killed Americans, made us poorer, hurt the United States long-term in very real ways. Anyone who participated in any of that should probably bow out of the conversation about the latest war. For the same reason that you wouldn't say take financial advice from someone who had gone bankrupt, or go to marriage counseling with someone who's been divorced 3 times, because they've demonstrably failed in their area of so-called expertise. And that would include virtually everyone you hear talking about this stuff. Is going to continue making these threats, meaning Putin. So those are apparently the only threats that we object to. If Ukraine wants us to launch a preemptive nuclear strike on their behalf, that's totally fine.
So Tucker Carlson is not garbage because he makes up this fantasy scenario of Ukraine telling us to nuke Russia and we do it, which is absolutely insane. That's not why. It's not even that he's pretending to be against the war, which he's not. He's against our involvement of it. He wants the war to proceed. He wants Russia to conquer Ukraine. That's not the reason. It's because he does the thing in the middle where he says, you shouldn't listen to anyone who was wrong about our past wars. You shouldn't listen to anyone who's gone bankrupt. You shouldn't listen to anyone who's been divorced multiple times. And I can't say exactly why that makes him garbage, in that there's multiple good explanations. Either he doesn't realize that he's describing Donald Trump in literally all 3 of those categories, in which case he's dumb garbage, or he knows that that's what he's doing, and he's doing it on purpose to needle Trump, but he's doing it without naming him. He believes that Trump is wrong on all of those things and that those are disqualifying in some fashion, but he doesn't actually have the bravery to say it to his audience, which is cowardly garbage. Also, I will add that Tucker Carlson supported the invasions of Afghanistan and Iraq. He did eventually backtrack on that, but after many, many people had already died. And so by his own logic, do not listen to Tucker Carlson about questions of war. And you would have been wise not to this whole time, because he has regularly been dead wrong about what's going on in Ukraine. And importantly, has never owned up to that, has never admitted when his predictions are wrong, and has learned nothing as a result of it. So garbage all around, Brett.
Agreed.
Thank you. Now, the community garbage person of the week, Brett, you're very helpful, thank you, is going to be like this. Top 5, number 5, 2% of the vote, Marjorie Greene on behalf of the birds. She's very worried about them being killed in windmills. Number 4, this is a tie, 4 and 3 with 5% of the vote each, is QAnon for their presence at Trump's rallies, or Trump's lawyers for refusing to turn over evidence, or even claim the evidence exists specifically. Number 2 with 35% of the vote is Vladimir Putin for threatening nuclear retaliation. And somehow this is worse than that. With 53% of the vote, Ron DeSantis, no explanation needed, just Ron DeSantis. You guys really don't like Ron DeSantis. I also want to acknowledge 58,000 people voted in the poll this week. It normally gets to 41 and then they end it, like I feel like algorithmically, 58 might be the highest we've ever seen.
Yo, Erlich's back, dude. Erlich's back.
That's why they're excited.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.